Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So Ashley. I've been working on a dress for my friend's engagement. She's planning on wearing it to her bachelorette party. So first I came up with this design for her and then she approved it and we took some measurements. So I went ahead and made the pattern when you weren't looking. Now I just have to cut out the lining fabric. So I just cut out the lining fabric as sort of my muslin before cutting into the good stuff. And this is how I mark my darts. I just snip the two lines that are going to be meeting and then mark the end of the darts with an erasable pen. If you wanted to, you could also just draw on the lines with the erasable pen. But I just use pins to make a straight line from the point to the two snips that I made. It was finally time to start sewing, so on the wrong side of the fabric, I sewed the darts closed, starting with a longer stitch length and ending with a shorter stitch length. Then it was time to sew the side seams together, so I pinned together the front and back pieces right sides together, starting at the very top of the side seam and the very bottom of the side seam. And I sewed that together at 1/2 inch with a basting stitch because this is basically just for fitting purposes and I had no idea if it was really gonna fit yet. To make a couple straps, I just cut out two long rectangle pieces that were 1 inch by 18 inches. And it's always a struggle for me to sew spaghetti straps. God, would you fucking move? But I finally got it to go through, sewing it a 1/4 inch from the edge. And I finally got myself a loop turner to step up my scrap turning game. But it was still a struggle for me to get it started, but we got there eventually. After the fitting, I made some adjustments to the pattern. I decided to add a scrunch detail to the back, so I had to add some length to the pattern. I also moved the darts down a bit because they were sitting way too high. Instead of cutting out a whole new dress, I decided to seam rip to preserve the front piece. So this is round 2 of sewing the darts together the same way as before. Starting with a longer stitch length and then shortening the stitch length as you go and ending off of the edge of the fabric. Then I pinned the front piece to the new back piece and sewed those together. Then it was finally time to cut out the outer fabric. And this is normally the point where I could really see it coming together. So here's the back piece, and then the front piece. And then marking the darts again. Pinning the darts together. And then sewing them darts again. The construction of the outer piece is exactly the same as the lining. So I just pinned the side seams together and sewed them at 1/2 inch. The only difference was how many sparkles were flying everywhere. To attach the lining to the outer fabric, I just stuffed the outer fabric in the lining right sides together, so basically the outer fabric is right side out and the lining is right side in. Then I pinned the whole neckline and armholes, and I sandwiched the straps inside in the front. Then I just sewed all the way around at 1/4 inch, leaving 2 gaps in the back to slide the straps into. Then I flipped it right side out to see how it was looking. I put it on my adjustable mannequin to make sure it was fitting and also to figure out the length of the straps. I was just covered in glitter at this point, but it's worth it because it's pretty. I struggled again with the straps. Straps were a struggle for me. But then I eventually found a way to get the straps sandwiched into the back in a clean way so I could sew it from the inside. Then I just had to secure it, sewing it at 1/4 inch. And here's how they look before any pressing. The next step was to add the scrunch in the back. So I had to seam rip a small hole in the center back neckline. Then I marked on the lining side down the center of the back. I sewed down that line through the outer fabric and lining, and then sewed down 2 more lines on either side to create 2 channels. I didn't sew all the way to the hem, I just sewed pretty much where the back contours, above the bum if you will. Then I used my handy dandy loop turner to feed the ribbon through.
You make a loop-de-loop and pull, and your shoes are looking cool.
And it was so much faster than a safety pin. Then I pinned those 2 ribbons in place and sewed across, squaring off the channels. Then I could just pull the ribbons through the top opening to scrunch up the fabric and then tie a little bow. I trimmed the ribbon and then used a lighter to keep the ends from fraying. Then it was time to hem, so starting with the outer fabric, I folded it over a little less than 1/2 inch and then sewed down the center of that fold, using a small zigzag stitch to keep the stretch. Then I folded it 1 more time and sewed from the outside of the fabric to make it look nice. Then I did the same thing with the lining, folding it slightly more so it doesn't peek out from the bottom of the dress. The last step was to add the little ribbons to the front to add a bow detail. And then the dress was ready for Kelly to wear. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you like how the dress turned out. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.